We have seen that Velumani was able to bring in huge volume of business by reducing the price of testing. And he had a central diagnostic lab at Mumbai, and the machines were not operated to the full capacity. There was idle capacity. He thought how this idle capacity can be utilized, and the services of the technicians can be optimized. In 1995, email was introduced, internet was introduced in India. So technology came to his help to scale up his business. He adopted the Walmart model. Walmart model is built upon volume and low price. When your margin or price is low, you can be profitable only if you can generate a large volume of business. So he decided to scale up his business, and he also decided to follow the McDonald model. McDonald was focusing on mainly on single product burger. That was their main product, and they adopted the franchisee model. They appointed franchisees in North America, Europe, China, in India, wherever they started their business. So the procedures of manufacturing the products were standardized, and the employees were given training how to make the various products they served. So Dr. Velumani also decided to combine these two strategies. One is the franchisee kind of business, and the second one is the volume business. So he appointed franchisees in every city. The franchisees initially were mainly his relatives, and the relatives then selected their friends and relatives. Like that, almost all the franchisee network was related to Dr. Velumani. And the franchisees were working on commission basis. So how he scaled up his business? every day the samples will be collected by the franchisees and it will be sent to Bombay by cargo flight. And Dr. Velumani says that the cost of one sample by cargo flight was just 1 rupee. So he was doing around 2 lakh tests every day. So the lab was working throughout the night. The next day morning, the result will be sent to the franchisees by email, and the patient will be getting the result, and based on that they can go for treatment. So this is how he scaled up his business. And cost was the main consideration. He used the power of pricing to build a business. He was able to generate a huge business. And today, 12,000 families are making a living from ThyroCare diagnostics of Dr. Velumani. And when he became very profitable, many people, many investors wanted to invest in the company. And he was adding S02 his turnover every 5 years. So in 1995 he had a turnover of 1 crore. In 2000 his turnover increased to 10 crore, and 2010 100 crores. Like that his turnover increased. So when he became very profitable, venture capitalists wanted to invest in the company. So first he sold and 10% equity in the company for a valuation of 400 crores. Then another 25% was divested. And later on, he went for an IPO, initial public offer, and the issue was oversubscribed by 75%. And today he has a valuation of his net worth is around 3,500 crores. Still, he is living in a rented house, a 5,000 square feet area, which is forming part of his laboratory itself. Today he has a square feet area of 4 lakh in different cities. And Velumani is telling the new entrepreneurs to focus on your business. Don't sell your products at a high price. Your product should be offered to the customers at an affordable price. And it's a zero debt company. He has not borrowed from banks or any other financial institutions, and he says that he's a his company is a cash rich company. So we have studied how a business opportunity is identified, then how the business is scaled up, and what are the strategies that an entrepreneur has followed to make that business a success. Ashok Sutta, in his book, famous book, Idea to IPO, says that before stepping into entrepreneurship, you must have at least 2-3 ideas, and from these ideas, one needs to be selected. And he cites the example of K. Ganesh and Meena Ganesh. He calls Ganesh as an idea factory. Meena Ganesh started a company called Customer Asset. Later on, that company was sold to ICICI. Then Ganesh and Meena started a company called Tutor Vista. It was an app developed by them to help the school teachers. And this app was taken over by Pearson, the world education company. When Tutor Vista was sold, both Meena and Ganesh were thinking about another venture. Which venture will be started? So a business can be developed from a customer pain or customer dissatisfaction. The best example is the company started by Meena and Ganesh called Portia Medical. Portia Medical. Portia is the name of a Brazilian flower, and medical means a medical business. I will come to the medical business which was started by Ganesh and Meena subsequently. So Ganesh talks about how the process of generating ideas. First one, scan the market for big customer pain points. Here I would like to tell you the case of Kerala's greatest entrepreneur, Kochosep Chittalappalli. He passed physics MSc from St. Thomas College, and his father was an agriculturist, a farmer, wanted him to take up a permanent job, and he managed to get a clerical post for him in South Indian Bank. But soon, Kochosep got tired of this job. There was no scope for any creativity or independence. So he was upset with that job, and he borrowed 50,000 rupees from his father and started a small workshop enterprise at Cochin, a place called Vadadala. And what was the business opportunity he identified? See, at that time, in the 1970s and 80s, there were so many NRIs or NOCs, non-resident Keralites. Because of their international exposure, these Keralites had electrical gadgets like refrigerator, then video players, video recorders, then TV, and the most important electrical gadget was refrigerator. But the customers were facing a major problem. There was a very high voltage fluctuation, and the electrical equipments got damaged, and it was an expensive item also. So it was a major customer pain for the customer. They were looking for a product, a reliable product with a good design and a good service. In the case of consumer durables, customer service is an important factor. At that time, there were two major brands in the market for stabilizer. One was Keltron and the other was from Telco. And these two products had not good design. They were not designed aesthetically. They gave a bad look. Second one, the performance was also not up to the mark. The stabilizer was not able to withstand the high voltage fluctuation, and the after sales service was also very poor. So three customer pains Kochosep wanted to address, and he developed a product of good design. Second one, he improved the customer service, and the performance was excellent. At that time, if the product failed, it was not because of the technical makeup of the product, but mainly due to the stress during transportation. And the product was priced higher than the other two products. Why the product was priced rupees 5 more than other brands? Because the high price gave the impression that it is a premium product. So Kochaussep started with a stabilizer for refrigerator. It was an attractive product. Later on, he diversified into the manufacturing of stabilizers for television stabilizer for inverters, and so many other electrical equipments. And he marketed these products through electrical distributors. There were so many electrical distributors throughout Kerala. Initially, he focused Kerala market. Then he extended his footprint to Tamil Nadu, then Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh. Then he set up a manufacturing unit in Himachal Pradesh, because the government of Himachal Pradesh provided land, then subsidy, investment subsidy, if the unit was set up in Himachal Pradesh, to take advantage of those incentives provided by the state government. He set up a unit in Himachal Pradesh. So he wanted to make the distributors also successful in the business. So he introduced more electrical products to build oleum. So stabilizer was followed by solar water heater. Then he developed wall clocks. Later on, he diversified into the manufacturing of cables. Now he manufactures electrical fans, inverters. So these were all related diversification, focused. Later on, when he traveled the world over, he found out that entertainment is one area where you can build a business. So identification of another business opportunity. So he started theme parks in Kerala at Kakanad, then in Bangalore, Wonderla. Then his manufacturing model, certain products he manufactured in-house and certain products he outsourced. For example, stabilizer. The parts are purchased from different markets, and the parts are given to women groups. For example, women self-help groups promoted by Kuriako Celia Service Society, KES. They were given the work of assembly stabilizers from the products supplied by V-Guard Industries. And he appointed quality supervisors who would ensure the quality of the finished products. In the case of cables, he set up the unit in Coimbatore, and the product is manufactured in their factory itself. So certain products he manufactured in his own factory, and certain products he outsourced the manufacturing process. So this is the business model, the manufacturing model he adopted. His distribution was through the wholesale dealers and retailers, and manufacturing two methods he adopted. One is in his own factory, and the other one is outsourcing to reliable agencies who can manufacture it. So the second process of generating ideas according to Ganesh is choose most have rather than good to have categories. Choose must have, not most, must have rather than good to have categories. Which means that the customer must feel that I must have this product. Without this product, I cannot do business, or I cannot do better. So must have rather than have categories. Your product must be solving a problem of the customer better than your competitor. Then only the customer will be ready to pay for your product. It's not enough that you have a good idea and the product. Ultimately, you have to build up a community of customers who will buy the product. In the case of Dr. Velumani, see, he provided quality service at the lowest cost to the patients. So patients were delighted by the service provided by Velumani. So it is a must product. No other lab will be able to provide that kind of a product. So naturally they will go for it. Third process of generating ideas according to Ganesh is the idea must be scalable and therefore command a decent market size. If your product is not scalable, then you cannot grow. When you select an idea, you have to examine whether there is growth potential or not. So here I would give you an example of a wonderful business model from Kerala itself. In 1959, an entrepreneur from Thrissur started a rice selling shop in Ariyangadi. He had no mill at that time owned by him. He bought paddy from the market and got it processed in some mills. In order to make the product liked by the customers, he introduced some sieves and removed the stone from the rice. And he also provided the customers good quality rice which was stored in his godown, because in rainy season at that time it was not possible to dry the paddy and make the rice. So he stocked the rice during the season, stocked it and got it milled by the rice mills, and the customers were highly satisfied. So his business grew up. And he was watching the developments in the market, the consumer preferences and like that. So in those days, in the 1960s and 70s, housewives were not having time to clean the rice, remove the black rices, stones from the rice and cook. So there was a consumer need for rice without stone and foreign particles. So he bought a stone remover, and again he introduced a machinery which can remove the black rice from the milled rice using laser beam that was imported from China. So M.O. John is the entrepreneur I'm talking about, and his company, which is now 61 years old, is called Double Hose. It was M.O. John who introduced stoneless rice, branded rice, for the first time in the state.